The pH measures the acidity or alkalinity of a solution. A fresh mud has a pH of 9, which means it is slightly alkaline. The pH can vary while excavating the soil and change the properties of the mud. A pH paper kit in the lab case is used for testing. There are different pH papers. For reference, use the color scale provided by the supplier. In this case, it's in half units. We start by checking the pH of the batching water, which must be of pH 7. The pH control is done once a week. Fill the graduated cup and prepare a pH paper strip, colored faced upward. Quickly dip the pH paper in the graduated cup before reading the value on the control pad. The pH is 7 in this case. Indicate the pH value of the water on the control worksheet as a calibration reference.
For excavating mud, the conformity range is between pH 9 and pH 11.
It is controlled once a week for fresh mud, and until conformity before concreting. There are different ways to control the pH of a mud. For instance, you can lay the strip delicately on the mud without covering it with mud. On this paper, we wait for the final coloring of the strip. When it's stabilized, take off the pH paper without covering it with mud. The pH value is read by matching the color to the reference pad. In this example, the pH is 8.5. pH can also be controlled by stirring the pH paper in the mud, when the mud isn't too thick anyway. The pH is read the same way. In this example, the pH is 9.5. Finally, when controlling the filtrate and the cake, the pH can be tested on the filtrate. A pH paper is dipped in the test tube for 30 seconds. Before the pH value is read, in this case the pH value is 8.5. After testing, the pH value is recorded on the control worksheet.
As a reminder, the pH of tap water is 7, neutral. The pH of fresh mud is 9, slightly alkaline. And finally, the pH of an excavating mud must be between 9 and 11.
The pH is controlled once a week for a fresh mud, and until conformity before concreting, particularly when a hydrophrase is used in aggressive soils, or in case of non-conformity of the viscosity.